contact with Man City, what's the point? You remember when I gave you the exclusive story 1 year and a half ago, Cole Palmer to Chelsea from Manchester City. That was a big story, a shocking story. I still remember for me how special that was because it was completely unexpected, but that story changed now the management from Manchester City on this kind of deals. And so now City don't want to lose the control on Nico O'Reilly in case he goes to Chelsea on a permanent transfer. My information is that Chelsea will be prepared to pay an important transfer fee for Nico O'Reilly, but now City are still requesting for a buyback clause or matching rights. So let's see how they can manage it. Chelsea are also assessing other options. Among them, keep an eye on Amougou, midfielder from Saint-Etienne, French, talented player who is in the list for Strasbourg, but now also Chelsea are considering to bring him to the club immediately. So let's see what Chelsea will decide to do. These are 2 names in the list, not the only ones. Is gonna be interesting to see what Chelsea decide to do in the final hours of the transfer market. At the moment, guys, I'm still receiving many questions on the future of a Chelsea player, Christopher Nkunku, linked with Manchester United. My information is that at the moment there are no concrete movements for Nkunku, and my information, as of today, if tomorrow changes, I will let you know, is that Nkunku doesn't want to leave on loan. So if some club arrives, deadline day, pay big money, I don't know, 60, 65, 70 million pounds, and sign the player on a permanent transfer, never say never. But loan deal is not expected to be attractive for the player. So the links between Nkunku and Man United on loan are something that at the moment I can't confirm. We will see tomorrow what happens. We will see what happens also with MATHYS TEL, one of the biggest stories of this final week. Now, what's going on? We are having completely different reports, guys. At 1 hour we hear it's over with Man United, 1 hour we see he shows Man United, many different stories from different countries, from different colleagues, and obviously we respect all the informations. My information is that at this time, MATHYS TEL is still pushing for a loan move. Bayern, on their side, are still insisting for a permanent move, loan with obligation or permanent, because they had 60 million euros guaranteed from Tottenham and the player said no. So what happens now? All the clubs interested in MATHYS TEL are still there, calling and trying to understand what happens. Man United did that in the last 48 hours. Arsenal also informed. So several clubs are still calling because the player would be open to a loan move on deadline day. Now depends on what the player and Bayern will decide, if Bayern will give the green light to MATHYS TEL or not. But for sure, a super interesting situation for MATHYS because there is strong interest in a potential last-minute deal, and so let's keep the story open. Let's keep everything open for MATHYS TEL because big things could happen on deadline day, or if Bayern will say, no, he's not leaving, only permanent transfer, we will be reporting about that, but for sure an interesting story with the agent of the player in Munich to manage it. Many links between Manchester United and Leon Bailey. Was the situation, guys? I told you yesterday night in the video, and I can repeat today, that Man United made contact with Aston Villa for Leon Bailey. But remember that Aston Villa, yes, signed Marcus Rashford, official, completed, loan by option 40 million pounds, are going to sign Marco Asensio, loan from Paris Saint-Germain, salary covered, but at the moment are still not able to sign Joao Felix because Chelsea are not opening the doors to their conditions. So Villa have to decide what Leon Bailey wants to do. What I can tell you is that Man United and Tottenham, both clubs called to be informed on Bailey, but again, it depends on Aston Villa, and at the moment there is still no open doors. We will see on deadline day what's gonna happen on that one. And then, guys, many movements around the world, many movements around Europe. We will keep following.
Which leads us nicely on to transfers. We've not many days to go before the old window slams shut, as we like to say. Boydie, coming to you first of all, there's been a lot of talk in the last couple of days about a certain Ollie Watkins and a potential possible, maybe a move to Arsenal. The news yesterday, Arsenal rejected a bid. Aston Villa rejected a bid for Arsenal. Ollie Watkins, despite the fact his family support Arsenal, he grew up supporting them as well, says he's happy to stay at Aston Villa. Is that the end of the matter?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I don't think Arsenal would put themselves in a position where they went out there and went after someone if there wasn't any incline that he was wanting to join them. I think when you look at, obviously John Duran was linked with a few moves before. That's obviously been done now. For me, looking at it, I don't think this one will rumble right onto Monday evening. I can't.
What, do you think Arsenal will get him?
I'm not sure they'll get him, but I think they'll go back in again. As I said, football clubs won't put themselves in the position where they're putting themselves out there to be shot down because there will be. That's why they've got agents. There will be talks or there will have been talks taking place beforehand. Would they be interested in coming? Do you think we can get a deal done? And they wouldn't waste their time. They would go elsewhere if they didn't have any inkling that there is a potential for this move to happen. For me, I don't think it's dead in the water yet.
No chance.
Where do you sense this going, Clinton? Because, I mean, John Duran's gone, and we'll talk quickly about him a little bit later. But if Watkins goes as well, the cupboard up front is looking somewhat bare for Aston Villa. They're into the Champions League last 16, got that top 8 finish. I know Arsenal, of course, were still in the Champions League as well. But from a Villa point of view, yes, money talks, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, it don't. And they're linked to the likes of João Felix, Asensio. But these are not players. These are different kind of centre forwards, and they're not out and out centre forwards. They're more like creative players. Ollie Watkins is an out and out number 9 that wants to stretch, wants to go in behind. He's a natural goal scorer. So I'm agreeing with Boydie. This ain't going away. This won't go away. Obviously, they lost John Duran for a lot of money. If Arsenal make a bid for someone, and we know the thing with Arsenal side, so Arsenal are a big football club. If they don't go and get Ollie Watkins in this window, then there's a situation there. They have to try and go put all their monies into that basket to try and go and get Ollie Watkins. If you say that you're such a big football club, try your hardest to go and get it. If you're at 60 million, I don't know what the sum is, but if you go to 80, 90 million, and he's 29 years of age, Aston Villa will have to have second thoughts of it. Hold on, we might have to sell him. I don't think Aston Villa will. They'll be crazy to sell Ollie Watkins. He's so integral to the way they are and the way they play at the moment. But if Arsenal are serious about catching Liverpool, I think they need a number 9, and that is Ollie Watkins.
At 29, is that value, though? The kind of figure.
It's not value. It's not. Of course, it's good value for Aston Villa,
yeah.
But for Arsenal, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you think here and now you want to challenge Liverpool and you want to compete and win stuff, Ollie Watkins will still go at that level for the next 2 or 3 years because he's fit. He can even go beyond that. So it's not a deteriorating player, but you're not going to make no value on the player. That's what I mean. But for the here and now, I think it would be a good signing. But Villa would be crazy to let him go.
And it's not just about the money, so it's about the colliding of the ambitions of these two big clubs. Villa, big club. So if they let him go to Arsenal, what does that say about the ambitions of Villa?
Yeah, and that's what I don't think Aston Villa will let him go. I think with Duran going as well, I think Ollie Watkins is integral to the way that Aston Villa play. I think we saw the progression of him under Unai Emery, and he's actually spoke about that. He said, I've developed as a player under him. So you think from a player's perspective, he must think, well, I'm getting better all the time. Aston Villa, like you say, are a club with huge ambitions, but then from an Arsenal perspective, of course, they need striking reinforcements. We've said that. Mikel Arteta's come out and said that. They've showed that by putting the bid in. So you can understand why Arsenal are going for him. But I can't see for 1 second why Aston Villa would let him go.
But one player they definitely have let go, Dawes, is John Duran. He secured that move to Al Nassr. He joins up with Cristiano Ronaldo. He's still only 21 years of age. I mean, the wages, as we would expect, going to that particular league, astronomical compared to what he was on at Aston Villa. He's moved on to the realms of 320,000 a week compared to, I think, roughly around 75 at Villa. Listen, there's going to be the inevitable criticism. He's gone for the money, but he's only 21. When you look at his upbringing in Colombia as well, the way his family backed him through some really, really tough times. He's not had that many starts this season, 7 Premier League starts at all, some spectacular goals. You can't really blame him, or can you?
No, I don't think you can. Everything will have played into this decision to make the move. Ollie Watkins is their main number 9. You've seen that. You just said what he started 7 Premier League games. So he's always played second fiddle. He's always come on and scored goals. And I'm sure when this opportunity came up, he thought, look, we've all had different backgrounds and we all look for different things. Would I have gone? No, I wouldn't. But my upbringing might have been different to what John Duran was. So I say good luck to him.
You would have fancied over 300 grand a week?
Yeah, probably would. I'd like that now. No doubt in that, and that's why people's heads are turned. I have never...
And the Ronaldo factor as well. You know,
yeah.
getting to play alongside him, albeit at the sort of autumn of his career, however long that autumn's going to go on.
It's not the Premier League, though.
No.
For me, would I have done it? No, I wouldn't. I would have stayed. He's still on £70,000 a week, but he's not playing, so I can see why.
And also at 21, he can look at this and say, look, 2 or 3 years, fill up the bank account, come back, and I'm still only 23, 24.
Yes. Will he get the opportunity to come back to a football club like Villa? We haven't got the crystal ball, but I think he's made that decision. He's gone, and Aston Villa have to move on, and that's why I don't see any reason why they will let Ollie Watkins go. When I'm sat here on Monday night from 9 to 11, I don't see Ollie Watkins being an Arsenal player because they've let Duran go.
Yeah.
If Duran is still in the building, it might have been a little bit different. but it isn't. He's gone, and Ollie Watkins has to stay.
I must say to you, it's not 9 to 11, it's 9 to 12, mate.
Well, I think we're on 9 till 11, Clinton, aren't we?
Splitting hairs with that new haircut, Clinton, already. Eh?
You can go at 11 and Ollie Watkins will sign between 11 and 12.
For goodness sake. Look what you started. Look what you started, Clinton.
Look at this.
Let's move on to a name that's barely been talked about over this transfer window. That's Marcus Rashford. Boyd, he's not been involved in the last 12 games of Manchester United. Wasn't involved in the Europa League. I mean, Ruben Amorim said interesting things to say. He said, imagine a talent like Rashford. Our team should be so much...
Get him, because it's quite embarrassing if they go in for a bid for someone and then all of a sudden they don't get him, and he's, no disrespect, he's at Aston Villa and Arsenal coming for you. So, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but Arsenal are that next level for Ollie Watkins, and he supports them as a fan. So, for me, I'd be surprised. You can't just keep on rushing in and buying Tom, Dick, and Harry. You know what I mean? You've got to be precise in whoever you buy, and it's hard to go and play for Arsenal. You can't just go and buy someone from somewhere and go, right, you're playing for Arsenal. You know, we've seen that with Hoyland. You know, it's hard to play for these big clubs. You're highlighted, you're under pressure from the word go. I think you get Watkins, he's played in this league, he's scored goals, he plays for England. It just fits, and he hits the ground running for the next 3 or 4 months and gives Arsenal an opportunity of winning the Premier League.
Do you think it makes any difference that he's an Arsenal fan and he said that it was his dream one day to play for Arsenal and his hero was Thierry Henry? Does that come into it at all?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I'd have thought so. I think being an Arsenal fan, I think that would help. And plus, you know, he's going to go and try and win the Premier League, so it will help. Would I be shocked if they did sell him? No, I wouldn't. I think if money talks, I think Arsenal tried to catch Villa cold and think, right, we'll go in and offer 60 million. And they would have had a whisper that Duran was being offered 60 or 65 million from Saudi Arabia, and then they throw that on the table, and then Aston Villa go, right, do we sell a 28-year-old for 60 million and keep the 21-year-old for 60 million? And they didn't. They sold the 21-year-old for